really good performance. Great way to start the conference. A lot of guys contributed great minutes off the bench. Milos, Javis specifically playing well when they haven't had as much opportunity is a credit to their preparation. And so, again, great way to start conference, and we're going to enjoy the holidays.
Milos in particular, he's a guy that he even said tonight, and Javis is probably the same way. He's just not used to not playing very much. So when you say credit to their preparation, have you seen lulls in practice where they were kind of just getting bummed out that they weren't playing very much?
Everyone wants to play, right? So anytime guys aren't in the rotation, there's a level of disappointment, and there should be, right? Because if you don't want to play, then right, what are we doing? So, but I feel like not just a day here and there, but for an extended period of time, they've done a good job in practice and done the things that have been asked of them, and they took advantage of their opportunities tonight.
You guys knew, I mean, obviously you scout San Jose State well, but did you know that you could have so much success on twos and then, at the rim? Was that something you knew? I mean, you guys are 20 to 24 on twos.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I don't think you ever go in expecting to go 20 to 24, but we feel like we're a team that can finish around the basket. We felt like we could get in the paint. They did some things differently that they hadn't been doing, and just relative to ball screen coverages and a lot less hard hedge than we were kind of expecting. But I think a lot of that just comes from the ball movement, sharing the basketball. Deyton has 7 assists. I think anytime we touch the paint and kick it out and drive it again, like we have the opportunity to really get depth on our drives, and I thought we made some good end to drive decisions. But that's where everything starts is putting pressure on the rim.
Okay, and then just to do the clerical stuff, injury-wise first, Chris, when did you know he wasn't going to play? And Tomislav, when did you guys decide he wasn't going to play?
Yeah, those guys are working through their rehabs. So, I think decision on Chris came probably sometime yesterday. Tomislav, had a workout after shoot around. I think is in a place where if in an emergency situation, probably could have gone, but we don't want to make that worse. So that one was a little more of a game time decision relative to how he looked today.
The potential of 2 weeks off kind of was tempting, I would think, too.
Sure, and we, the injury was a little bit of a re-aggravation, so we're trying to be a little bit conservative there.
And I've been saying hamstring. It is a hamstring, right? That's
correct.
Okay. And then on the Kevin Patton, can you give us any other indication on what's going on with Kevin Patton at this point?
No, same. No change in that status.
So, you believed in Milos, going back 2 years now, going back to UCSD, and then he suffers that injury last year, and then you still have faith in him, you bring him here. So to see him finally have a night where he explodes the way that he does, as a coach, how much just pride do you get in just watching a kid that you believe can go off like that? Yeah, just happy for him, because like we said, he's been working. He worked, a long time to get back healthy. We felt like he had the chance to really help us last year, and that was taken away with some unfortunate injury. We felt like, there was a version where he was going to, help us this year, and there still will be times where he's needed, but it's, I think anytime guys aren't playing, it's easy for people from the outside to look and say oh, well, he's just not a good player or he's not good enough. That's not always the case. It's what's the team, how's the team built? What does the team need? Other guys maybe help us more on the defensive glass, where that's not a strength for our team. So where Milos maybe provides a little more offensive punch. And so there's decisions about what does the team need, what are the lineups that make sense. And so I think it's easy to see guys that aren't playing and get the wrong impression from the outside that they aren't good players. We know what Milos is capable of. We were having conversations based on the matchups and things. This was a game where, he could have 15 points in 12 minutes or something like that. We certainly knew he was capable of that, and it was a great night for him to deliver it for us. I mean, small sample size, only one game, but now that you've played a Mountain West game, can you just talk about how it kind of lived up to your expectations?
Every conference game is important in its own right, and I just thought we had the right approach. Thought the crowd was good, I know we're getting close to the holidays, so we appreciate everybody coming out and supporting. Got loud a few times in there when guys were making shots, and Uriah had a little breakaway. So, we need that every time out in conference because it's everyone's going to be highly contested. Everybody's good, and we have to continue to raise our level as we go forward if we want to keep having success.
So you guys started off the game 1 out of 11 on threes, and then after Milos drained a couple, and then Joel got in on the party, it started falling down. I believe it was 10 and 19 on threes. Does it just take one sometimes just to kind of get the ball rolling on threes?
Yeah, sometimes that stuff's contagious. We just try to focus on taking the right shots. We feel like if we take quality shots, we'll make our share. Joel had some good looks that didn't go. Jake had a good look or two in the first half that didn't go. Like, we really believe in our ability to shoot the basketball, and so we try not to overreact to misses or even sometimes makes for the other team when it's the right defensive coverage. We want to just keep playing one possession at a time.
So, and I'm so sorry, but I saw you with some cookies when you were coming in here. Those are Biscochitos?
Yeah, student section gave me some Biscochitos here for the holidays. So
Have you
appreciate that.
had one yet in your time here?
I have. Yeah, I have had that, and I've had a Biscochito latte too that I really enjoyed.
So we can say you're pro Biscochito?
Yeah, I'm pro Biscochito for sure.
Eric, I thought even considering the lineup that you guys, the amount of players that you didn't have tonight, I thought it was really a complete game from beginning to end. They only made that one little run right at the beginning of the second half. Do you think that was possibly the most complete game you guys have played the whole season?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was the most complete game. I thought we were really good for stretches. Early first half, I thought we really struggled to communicate. We gave up 3 threes in transition that were, absolutely controllable on our end. Where we had JT Rock stopping the ball in transition. That's not by design. So we had some mistakes there. We weren't communicating well enough to be on the same page for some things. And then in the second half, I thought there was a stretch where we kind of got away from the things that were giving us success. Right, we had some shot selection. Plays that weren't great that led to transition. I think they went like 9-0 pretty quick and cut it to 5 in the second half, which is the stretch you were mentioning. Those are things that were results of our mistakes, right? So when they're controllable things, like that's the part that we have to keep getting better at, and would be one of the reasons it might not be our most complete performance.
And then the most impressive part was the way you guys put it away down the stretch with that 17-0 run. That's got to be very pleasing to be on the bench watching something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We continued to play good basketball, and I thought we wore them down a little bit. Garland was really playing well, making some tough shots, and we just kind of felt like if we stuck to the plan, we didn't think he could kind of get him all the way back on his own with the shots that he was getting. Felt like he would wear down a little bit, and so we got a little separation at the end, and I thought part of that was just our ability to sustain pressure for the most of the game.
I want to ask again about Milos. What is his offensive? Obviously, he's a better offensive player or he's a very skilled offensive player. But what is it in particular that he does so well, where he's able to score on people?
I mean, he's got a fantastic touch, right? So, trying to think if he had one. His ability to just kind of like take little floaters and things that you might think are, low percentage shots for him, they're not, right? His touch around the basket is his touch from 3, makes his free throws. He's got, back to the basket game. He can put it on the floor. He's a pretty versatile offensive player and a difficult matchup.
He also, I didn't know if early on he was going to make the most of his minutes because the ball was finishing with him every possession, whether he was making it or not. But then he started passing it a little bit. Is there a tendency for a guy who doesn't play a whole lot to maybe want to get the most of his minutes and shoot a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's easy, but that's part of who Milos is as a player, right? Like he's a high usage player on offense, so that was expected. Like he was going to be aggressive. We know that when he goes in the game. But I thought he and Tajavis both did a really good job of playing the right way, because it is easy for guys who maybe haven't had the opportunity in recent games to come in and try to like just make all the plays at once. And I thought they both, for the most part, let the game come to them. Took good shots, competed on both ends, and so I was really pleased with both those guys.
There's one other guy I wanted to ask about. He got going late. Was Jake? We've asked you guys and to players too about his his shot fakes and his up and unders and stuff like that. He had another and one today. For a freshman, it's kind of want to ask you again. Like, have you seen a freshman with as much shot fake, I guess, ability as J. Cole?
I don't know. I'm sure there's someone out there, but I don't know. I've been watching him do that for a really long time. Like, it's just kind of part of his game. Honestly, like, he does a nice job. I mean, he took the most shots tonight. He took the most shots, the other night. Like, but he does a nice job of not forcing things. He's under control a lot. He's off the ball a lot. Deyton and Uriah have it in their hands a lot and create. But like, Jake's a great passer. I kind of feel like there's more to his game than even we're seeing. Like, he's a pretty complete offensive player, can score in a lot of ways. So we're not really surprised by anything he's doing. And yeah, he has a mature game.
Obviously, you had an idea you'd probably get a little more minutes tonight with Tom's injury, but did you come into tonight kind of knowing you might have this kind of game?
I mean, whenever we prepare the game, everybody's locked in and everybody kind of stay ready whenever we get the chance. So for me, his mentality is always the same for each game, and I need to prepare, either knowing that I'm not gonna maybe step on the court, but like I need to be ready for whatever is there.
How often? I mean, you haven't got a ton of minutes this season, so I'm curious, how hard it is sometimes to keep yourself as ready as you were tonight.
Yeah, it's a little bit on a challenge, I would say, because it's not the first time in my career. Maybe my experience through that being like through high school and at the beginning of my college through the same stuff, but like I'm trying to perform well in the practice, each practice, and kind of like with the hard work and efficient practices show that whenever I get a chance. And also, I think the big support is from my teammates that kind of like help me to show what I have on the court with them.
And then you guys tonight, I think it was 11-13 in the first half on twos and 20-24 overall. Did you come into this game knowing you guys would have a lot of success, at the rim? I know you want to get to the rim, but did you know you'd have that kind of success on twos tonight?
Like I said, we were preparing each game like to be focused. I think, especially around the rim when there's a physical game, you need to be mentally also strong, not only physically. But I think we made a great advantage in a pick and roll situations where Deyton had amazing drives and assists to everybody on the court.
It seems like any given night, any single player on this roster is capable of doing what you did tonight. So for you to, sit and watch for the last 2 months, I guess, just talk about how much you were looking for when your opportunity came. Like, hey, I'm going to join that list of double-figure scorers. I'm going to make a significant impact.
For me, it's just like to be prepared and ready. With the communication with coaches, I know that we're also always talking to like be ready. The chance will come, and right now we have small issues with not that much big roster, but everybody needs to come today, and not only today, like on every single game, and show what we have. And I think we showed a character today, especially with a little bit more guys outside rotation. So that just shows how tough we are and how talented this group is.
So this was your first, conference game of the season, and you guys, win pretty convincingly, 23 points. I'm just curious what your thoughts were on your first Mountain West game and kind of if it felt any different at all.
For us, this is a really important game because start of the conference is always important to start with a win and build up from there. But also, like today, people showed up. The pit was full, and I think crowd showing before Christmas. This is our appreciation for that, and I wish you all Merry Christmas in a couple days.
Milos, with about 4:56 to go in the game, you hit 2 free throws, and then you checked out. And the fans, a lot of people stood up and cheered you as you left. Did you hear that? Did you feel the crowd?
Yeah. I mean, not only for me, I feel proud every time we play well, and I really appreciate the support, and I hope we're gonna play well in upcoming games, and that we're gonna get love from fans in other games too.
And then this was kind of an audition tape for you to win over the coaching staff, prove to the fans, prove to your teammates that you can get in there and contribute. Do you feel like maybe tonight's effort, you earn some more playing time when the team gets healthy, when everyone's back?
I mean, today's me. Tomorrow's going to be some other guy who's going to step up and show his talent. I'm really happy that we won today and that we can come on, we can go on a short break with a win, but then there's another really hard game against Boise State, so we need to be ready for that. And
Kind of following on the theme that being prepared and being ready at all times is one thing, but knowing tonight that you were going to get a lot of extra time, did that fire you up to the point where you really came out on fire?
I mean, you never know how much chance you're gonna get, but whenever that's the last chance, then like I said, you need to show whatever you have in a short amount. Today, maybe I scored a lot, but even if I didn't score, maybe if I did the right things and help the team win, I think that's the most important stuff.
But personally, did you get a little more motivation knowing you're going to get some extra minutes?
I mean, yes and no. It depends. For me, I just want to do my job whenever I get the chance, and I'm fired up even if I play 2 minutes, to be honest with you. So whenever that's a chance, I'll show whatever I have, because these people deserve that, and they're always coming to support us, not only at the pit, but outside in the downtown Albuquerque.
A good stat line, but I'm going to start with not you. What was it like to see Tajavis kind of get going again? I know you guys are close, so what was it like to see Tajavis get going?
I mean, that's my roommate. We have a lot of personal conversations at home, so it was great to see him get out there, hit a few shots, get his confidence back, get his love back, and, it was great to see.
As much as you're willing to divulge in front of cameras and microphones, when you and him were having those conversations, it had to have been hard for a guy who's played a lot of minutes and then wasn't playing for a while. I'm curious, did you expect him to come back like this the way he did, and what were those talks like?
Yeah.
What did you want to say?
Yeah, I would say I was kind of in the same situation last year at Utah State. In the beginning of the season, wasn't getting the minutes that I wanted. Shots wasn't falling. And, I kind of related the same situation with him, telling him, bro, it's a long season. It's a lot of time. Stay focused, stay locked in. And, yeah, he got his chance today and made the most of it.
All right, and then Milos is another guy who got his chance based on circumstances. Milos is a guy that, Coach said, is a high-usage guy. He gets the most of his minutes. He's shooting every time he touches the ball. Have you seen Milos do that a lot? The offensive game he had, 19 points tonight?
Yeah, I seen it my first day here in the summer when we were playing pickup. I seen how skillful he was, and it blew my mind. And, Milos isn't kind of in the same situation as Javis, where, in the beginning of the season, wasn't getting the minutes, wasn't getting the touches that he wanted. And, he was also my roommate down in Kansas, and, I kind of had a personal conversation with him, kind of giving him the same advice that I gave Javis, and, got his chance and made the most of it as well.
Team psychiatrist?
Nah, I'm just trying to be a leader. I've been around for a little bit, so got to keep the guys' head straight.
All right, and then you guys are 20 for 24 and twos. You're driving. I know that's part of your game, but everybody was scoring at the rim tonight.
Wait, 20 for 24?
20 for 24 and twos. Damn, not too bad. Did you guys see that when you guys were watching film? Did you know you'd have that much success at the rim against these guys?
I mean, we didn't, necessarily talk about, scoring in the paint. We were more focused on ourselves, just playing lower basketball the way, Coach Olen teaches us to play every day. And I guess it was just one of those nights. The shots was falling from the two, so can't be mad at it.
Off the subject of basketball just a touch, I've been around here forever. I've never seen the football team and the basketball team bond the way you guys seem to. Were you guys pretty jazzed up when you saw the team come out?
Yeah.
Is there a good rapport between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they were winning. We having a winning season, so that's some type of connection. And I always like to keep a good relationship with other student athletes, try to know more people, meet new people, and, just keep that connection because, we're all Lobos, and I feel like it's a family at the end of the day, so, yeah.
So a lot of international players on this year's roster, you being one of them. I'm just curious, as someone who's done that before, what does the holiday break kind of look like for you guys? How do you make the most out of your time off and you're not necessarily going home?
Well, I'm going home. Thank God. This is my first Christmas break in about 3 years. My family is happy to see me. Nice little 5-day break. Get to go home. Got to stay focused because, we come back play a nice opponent in Boise State. But it's good for my mental, just to get home, be with my family, eat some good food, and spend the holidays with them.
What does a Bahamian Christmas look like?
Well, I can tell you my routine, my family's routine. We wake up like 8, open gifts. Then we go to my aunt's house, open more gifts. Then we go to my grandma's house, open more gifts. And then my mom would cook a nice meal, some rice, some macaroni, some baked pork chop. You get a nice little meal, good Bahamian food. And we have this festival called Junkanu. It's like a parade with a lot of pretty costumes, and they create music with drums and bells and whistles. And I go there, and it kind of keeps me grounded because it feels like I'm home. So, yep, that's what it looks like.
I'm jealous.
I know you're gonna have, like you said, that there's a specific meal that you guys are gonna have for Christmas time. But there's like one. I know you're trying to balance it because you got to be ready for that Boise State game when you come back from the break. But is there one meal that you're telling your family you gotta have when you come back?
Yes, I want some brown rice from my mom. Some brown rice, some potato salad, baked pork chop, and some corn and some Kool-Aid. That's me.
So I asked you in that podcast before the season started about New Mexican food, and as you had green chili yet, you hadn't really worked it in, so you're not bringing green chili home for Christmas?
I still haven't tried. I'm going to make that a promise before the New Year's. I'm going to try it.
Before New Year's?
Yes,
Okay.
before New
At
Year's.
least
So,
New Year's resolution probably.
yes, I'm going to have the green chili. That's all I've been hearing about. So,
Mix it in with some of that, some of the brown rice.
All right.
Not brown rice. Anyway, so you're 7 assists tonight, though. You've been driving the ball and being aggressive all year, and you're a physical player. You get in the paint and you create contact. But the assists weren't always, you didn't have 7 like you did tonight all season. Why tonight were you able to find players? Are you just getting on the same page with players a little more?
yeah, I feel like I'm learning my teammates a little better. I feel like my teammates are learning me a little better. We have certain codes, certain signals for my shooters, certain signals for my bigs to know, like, we're going to try this, do this. I'm talking to them on dead balls. So I feel like it's just that connection we're building, and, they're making shots. So credit to them.
Tommy Slav mentioned two, 3 weeks ago at the last press conference he was at, that kind of what you just mentioned here with responding to Geoff, that you guys are getting you're knowing each other more and more and more, and you guys are getting hotter. It seems like each week we got a new guy who just set a career high in points. How dangerous can you guys be now that the ball just keeps rolling and getting bigger?
Yeah, I would say we can be pretty dangerous, very dangerous. The way our offense is set up, Coach Olen likes the ball to move around, so everybody gets a touch, and we look for the best possible shot. And if it's Milos that night, it's Milos that night. If it's Jake that night, it's Jake that night. Once we get the win, I'm happy. We're all happy. So we're all trying to win a championship here. So that's what's up.